Yeah. And so in that, you were able to find something that very few people know and more people are learning now, but that Europe really is supportive of language learning as a way of supporting a visa. That's something that they see. It used to be, I think most people have it in their head, at least I did, that it's really hard to move abroad or you need to have a corporate
Mm.
job move you or some story, right? Or you come with a backpack as a single person. There's only two ways to do it. This, I think what you're offering shows people that at any age, at any income level, you can get a visa to legally come to Europe at least for a year or two.
Yeah. It's like I try to stay away from like framing it in terms of hard or easy, because what does that mean? I think moving abroad is challenging, and but not necessarily because of visa stuff. Like it's challenging because of stuff we talked about before, like having to say goodbye to people, or just, having to navigate a different healthcare system than you're used to, or whatever, right? But that's one thing that it's like people, there's so many options that people don't know about. Like, like you said, a lot of people think that you need to have a job lined up. A lot of countries have job seeker visas where basically you just have to have some university education and work experience and you can come look for a job. And then also, like you said, language learning is a great one. Like, for example, in France, you can go study French, and that's your visa. And all you have to have is, clean criminal record, a passport, and you want to learn French.
Yeah. And you have to enroll in a class, obviously. Duolingo
Yeah.
doesn't count,
Yeah. Yeah.
but these are, again, not big corporate jobs that are hard to get. Like you said, the visa shouldn't be the hard part of your move because there's other hard parts. And I think what I would like to say is it goes from impossible for someone like your cousin who has 3 kids under 10, feels like there's not a way, or maybe a retiree who maybe thinks there isn't a way. Someone who isn't the typical person we think of, which is like a young 20-something single or maybe partnered, they can move abroad. But this opens up pathways for other people at other income brackets and also a legal path to potential longer stays.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I recommend student visas all very often because it does open the pathway to longer stays. Like, for example, in the US, the average student takes out $40,000 worth of student loans, and they carry that debt with them years and years and years. And I know people who they have a very difficult time paying off all this debt. Whereas on the other hand, you could choose to study in Europe and Germany, for example. All public German universities are free tuition, even for foreigners. So that already is very attractive, right? But
Yeah.
besides that, like, even if you don't have free tuition or you go to a country that doesn't have free tuition, it certainly is not going to be $40,000. Like, that's a lot. So there's pathways you can do that. Also, if you go and study like universities, a lot of the time, part of the program is to help you get a job, right? So like I went to business school, I went to like a master of business administration, and like basically like most of the point of it was networking, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's such a good way to transfer into long-term residency and then eventually citizenship, right? Is like that's a very, very good path, like student visa, job seeker visa, job, citizenship.
Yeah. And so that going to a university is one way, but even before that, let's say the university is not in English that you want to go to, you could even start with a language program, do that for a year or two, then move to university. So this is just giving you years to spend in this country legally, building pathways to citizenship if you want, or permanent residency, or all the funny things we have to deal with as international people because visas are a thing.
Mhm.
But there's just so many, and this is what your program shows, and your um resources is that
Yes.
there's so many more ways than we think to legally start that pathway, or to give a country a try, or to learn a language, get another degree. That's just the start. There's more that you're uncovering all the time that people can access. And so that's kind of where what started for you as a resource library, it sounds like, has turned into something more. And tell me why you think community matters so much in these sorts of uh, in moving abroad and moving to a new
Yeah.
country.
Yeah. So like I went out to I had this idea and I was like, I can help people with this, right? And so then the question is like, how do I help, right? So I started out making ebooks and visa guides for, well, that's not true. I started out by making like an in-depth video course about a specific visa, the German Opportunity Card, which is a job seeker visa here in Germany. And then I was like, okay, that took me a long time to make all that. How can I like help people who like in like how can I get more information out more quickly? So I started making like ebooks and visa guides, and those started to do well. Because I think a lot of people out there are know they want to move abroad but don't know all these options, so they need something that's like pretty accessible to like parse through all of this information that's out there. Just like the whole world of information is like, yeah, it like people don't know these options because they're just buried in all this information. So I started doing that, and those started doing well and like helping people. And so then I came to this, I started to see that a lot of people were interested in study abroad and scholarships. And I had that idea of like, why do people have to take out $40,000 of student loans? That is just ridiculous. Like, it does not have to be this way. So I was like, what if I make a product where I compile all of these different university programs and scholarship programs in Europe into a database, and then you can sort through that database by your major that you're looking for, or the country that you're looking for, or even the city that you're looking to move to, and have the application link right there and be ready to apply. And that idea came to me, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's good. That's the one. That's going to help people. So I made that. It's the ultimate European scholarship database. And it's helped a ton of people so far start their move to Europe. It's always being updated. So like, things change all the time, but I stay on top of it. I'm like always finding new university and scholarship programs and always keeping it updated. So like I think, I don't know, I just like that it is really helpful, and it's like something that people can use to get started and to like fully make an entirely new life, in Europe.
Okay, that's this week's clip for our summer special. If you're new here or you've joined us recently and missed some of these earlier conversations, this series is for you. We're taking a little break from recording new episodes, but there are certain moments from past episodes we really wanted to share while we're away. If today's episode resonated, you can find the link to the full original episode and all related resources in the show notes below. Thanks so much for being here and letting House of Peregrine be part of your summer, no matter where in the world you're listening from.